Good afternoon. This is Barry, and you're watching Barry and the PI. I sure do appreciate you if you hit that subscribe button and that like button and hit that little volcano over there, my own volcano, and you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. So, I started this video a while back. I don't remember what year, I guess. I think it's 2020 or 2021 or something. But uh, in my early videos, I talked a lot about my life uh, and growing up as a kid, my early years, and the things that helped make me who I am. So I don't even know if those are still on there and whether you can watch them or not. But so I'm going to go over and talk a little bit about my early years. Uh, I was born in Port Arthur, Texas. What a god awful place. It's mostly refineries, oil refineries, and wasn't too good of a place to raise a family, if you ask me. Fortunately, when I was about 1 year old, uh, my mother and father decided to go to Austin, move to Austin, Texas. What a wonderful place to grow up in. Um, so we moved up there at the advice of some of the doctors. My older brother, who's about 5 when I was born, he was born with several different kinds of disabilities. His muscles never could develop in his arms and his legs. Uh, he had difficulty writing. It was really laborious to him to write. They got us a typewriter, and he could use that, just usually one finger typing around. He couldn't walk. Uh, when he got old enough, they got him a wheelchair from thanks to the Will Rogers Foundation. They help people with disabilities, and they gave him a wheelchair. Uh, the earliest I remember, uh, my brother would be sitting up in his high chair for dinner or breakfast or whatever to eat, and I was a little toddler, half crawling, half walking on the floor. And I remember my brother would sit in that high chair, and he would throw food down to me on the floor. He'd throw like beans and peas and corn and stuff like that down, and I would roll over there and eat it. One time I decided I was going to climb up his high chair. What a mistake that was. I started climbing up, and all of a sudden, everything came collapsing down on me, including my brother. And my mother was horrified at that, and she made a point that your brother is different. He can't fend for himself. You have to take care of him, and that's been with me ever since. Uh, as I got older, my brother was, despite his disabilities, was mentally a genius. I mean, a real genius. Uh, he could read when he was 3 years old. He was already reading books and stuff. Really smart guy. And the doctors had advised that parents should take him up to Austin and put him into the state hospital or state school. It's a miserable place. It's been shut down now. And when they got up there, they kept seeing signs that my brother was really exceptionally smart. And the place we moved to in Austin was the Go Valley. We lived right across from Go Valley Elementary School, and the principal had a house just across the street from us on the school grounds. And he had 2 kids older than I am. And the principal learned that my brother was really smart. And he said, he can come to our school. And so when he got elementary school, he enrolled there. And most of the kids took good care of him, particularly one guy who was the biggest, baddest guy in school there. He made it a personal thing to take care of my brother. We called them by his initials, N.A. His name was Nathaniel Austin Brookshire. And but we just called him N.A. Until he got to college, and he wanted to be known as Nat, or short for Nathaniel. So when I got old enough to push him in the wheelchair, I could hardly see over the wheelchair, but I would push him out and down the road, all around the neighborhood, and we'd go look for other kids to get together and play football or baseball, sometimes basketball. But my brother always served as the coach, and he would draw up plays for us. The team, whatever team I was on, and so we'd play tackle football. Not this wimpy touch football. We were tackling. So we did that and had a good time. Grew up really nice. I always took care of my brother, but I was still little. And so I would often in summer, when I was a little kid, 3, 4, 5 years old, my mother would fill up one of those galvanized tubs and fill it up with water, and I'd go and sit in it naked. And this is one way I got interested in insects, because I would pick up insect and put it on a leaf in the tub and watch him go running around. I'd do things like leave a piece of bread and see how long it took the ants to find it, and crazy things like that. There was a little girl, same age, 5 years old, lived next to ours, and we would meet over by the fence. There's a picket fence and hedges along the fence. But there was a gap in the fence, so I would go up and stand there and talk to her. Well, I was 5 years old, and one day she decided to come over. She's dressed in this cute little frilly dress, and I was in my shorts and t-shirt, and she came over, and for some reason, I don't know, I was only 5 at that time. We went into the garage apartment. We had a separate garage with an apartment on top that they rented out. My parents rented out, and there's just all kinds of junks piled up in there. And this little girl and I got in there, and the next thing I knew, she had that dress down by her ankles, and I was standing there looking with a big grin on my face. And I soon got out of my shorts and t-shirt, and we spent time examining each other's body and playing with each our bodies, and it was going real good for me until my mother walked in there, and she wasn't too happy. And she was, I said, "What are you doing to my little son?" And the girl up got that dress on and pew out the door. And my mother grabbed me and took me into the house. Before she took me in, she tore a switch, a little piece of the branches. And uh-oh. And yep, I got a little whipping. And of course I cried, and then my mother, oh, it's how mothers are. But even though I got that whipping, that didn't keep me trying to get the other little girls to go into the Boy Scout hut on the school grounds. And nobody's in that's not amused except for Boy Scout meetings. And it was private. And be surprised at the number of girls that went in there with me. So that was part of my upbringing. I was kind of a comic even then. One day in my first grade, I remember I kind of got in trouble. Well, usually after lunch, we would have to put our blanket on our desk and go and lay down and take a nap while the teacher went to teacher meeting in the office. And one day we'd gotten there, and all of a sudden, this little fat boy had rolled off his desk, and he was crying. And so I got up and I decided, oh, we got to get him to stop crying to go get in trouble. So I started acting up and doing crazy things, and everybody laughed. And the kid stopped crying and started laughing. Just then, the teacher walked in as I was, and she hauled me into the principal's office. Fortunately, the principal knew me very well, and I didn't get in too much trouble. So after that, I did pretty good in elementary school. Again, it's always summer times or weekends would be getting a bunch of guys together and go play football or baseball. And so it was a lot of fun. It's a good place to grow up. Most of the neighborhood was blue collar uh, people, and mostly construction workers. My father was an electrician, and before I was born, back in the 30s, he had gone over to Saudi Arabia to install electricity in the oil fields that had just been discovered. And it was a well-paying job. And he saved his money, put all that money away, because eventually he wanted to own his own electrical contracting company. So our time, we'd always go to, during election season, we'd go and see all these politicians, and they'd have some country music band, uh, and so I got into politics early, and my brother was able to always explain any questions I had. I would usually go to him, and he would have a good answer for me. That's the benefit of having a brilliant brother. And so we, uh, it was a good life to live. Austin was a great town. There was great food, and we often went out to eat. And my brother still is never really could walk, or there's no real improvement in his muscles. His arms were just thin. I could wrap my head around like that. That's how small his extremities were. Uh, and that's how I came to be a very big supporter of help for people with disabilities. And I've had many friends that had different kinds of disabilities. You see, in the 1930s and the early 40s, they didn't have a lot of these vaccines. And my parents were always afraid that I was going to get polio. Fortunately, when that came out, I got the vaccine. And I didn't get polio, but several people in my neighborhood did. And one guy became good friends, and he'd come over, even though he wore a brace on his leg, and he just kind of, but he'd go in there and play football with us. He didn't let that polio stop him from enjoying life. Uh, my older brother was able to make a lot of good friends. Uh, as I say, the biggest, baddest guy in the elementary schools, Don, I can't remember his name now, but they stayed friends for life, really. They would go and see, even when we were in high school, Don came over. We went out to McCallum High School, to the football field. It was on a weekend. And it was just us. We were just walking around, throw football a little bit. And there were three other guys, uh, high school age or college age. They were there, and they said something about my brother. And Don got upset about that. And he went over there and was going to whip their asses. And they kind of backed down and said, "Oh, sorry, sorry. They didn't mean anything by it." But good friends. My brother had a lot of them. Uh, so this is this is part of my life. I'll go into more of the little bit older, maybe tomorrow. But I lived a good life. My parents worked hard to put food on the table. They had a garden, a big garden in the back, and woods and stuff like that. I could go ramble around in and find insects and stuff. And I once, when I was probably 7, 8 years old, and I went scrounging around through areas, and I caught 4 black widow spiders, which are poisonous. I was pretty quick. I had a big jar and a lid, and I'd go in like that and screw it on quickly. And I caught 4 of them and put them in this big jar. And the next day, I go out there and there's only 1 spider left. She killed the other 3 and then proceeded to lay eggs. And those hatched and had like 1,000 little tiny spiders in that jar. Well, we had a dog, and the dog knocked the jar off the porch and broke it. So all those little spiders fled. And fortunately, I think most of them got eaten by something else before they became fully poisonous or anything. Well, that's about it for right now. That's just a little bit of my life, and I'll do some more tomorrow, I think. So y'all take care. Have a great day. Look at this day. It's beautiful out here. It's a little bit cloudy. The sun's come out. And guess what I got over here? I just noticed this. Our yard guy got a whole bunch of coconuts and some other stuff. That's blooming real well. Those are blooming. That bougainvillea is really blooming. The orange one. So yard man's doing a good job. He's a young guy, uh, and Midas paid him pretty good, and he comes every day and cleans the yard and waters the plants and whatever else needs to be done. So life is good here in the Philippines. Y'all take care. Take care of your family. Take care of your kids. Take care of your pets. Don't let them run around. They'll get killed. So outside your property, you keep them inside your property and they'll be all right. And they give you a lot of love too. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.